Welcome everyone to this week's bi-weekly community call. We hold these calls every other Tuesday at 9 a.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. UTC. This week I will go over the agenda, but we'll be talking a little bit about an upcoming Twitter Spaces, some updates on the DAO Dune dashboards. I'll hand things over to Hugh to give his tokenomics update and his weekly update for the foundation. Sem will go through the last week in review of cover sales, some insights on the top protocol cover products of Q2 2023 so far. We'll highlight some of the discussions on the governance forum, and then I will open things up to an open forum if anybody wants to bring up anything that we didn't touch on the call today. So without further ado, I will jump right into things. The first thing I wanted to talk about is an upcoming Twitter Spaces with UMA, or the Universal Market Access Protocol. We will be joining them and talking about the state of decentralized protection on Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 1700 UTC. Hugh is going to be talking with Hart from UMA. For those of you who aren't familiar, UMA is an optimistic Oracle protocol. They're integrated in different places within DeFi. They're used for a variety of use cases. And in this discussion, Hugh and Hart will be talking about the state of protection in DeFi, the potential for real-world risk coverage, and how V2 can play a role in that. And I'm sure that the folks from UMA will talk about the role of optimistic oracles as well. The folks from UMA will likely talk about some of the initiatives that they're running and how optimistic oracles play an important role for protection in DeFi for certain coverage protocols. This should be a very good discussion. Previously, we tried to do this and had some technical issues, so this has been rescheduled, and it's happening on Wednesday. So if you have time to join the discussion, I highly recommend joining on Wednesday. I'm definitely looking forward to this. I don't know if this is going to be recorded, so if you can catch it live, it should be a really great discussion. I want to just give a quick update on the DAO Dune dashboards. I've talked about these in the last few weeks. There have been some new ones that have launched. And pretty soon here, I think within the next week, the cover dashboard is going to launch soon. So I just have a quick sneak peek of some of the stats that are tracked on the dashboard. But to give you an insight on the analytics that are covered here, total cover fees paid. This is the total and then broken down by ETH and DAI. Total cover underwritten since 2019, since launch. And that's also broken down in ETH and DAI terms. The active cover amount broken down into ETH and DAI as well. Cover expiry drop off, so you can see how much coverage is active and then how much is going to be expiring over time. The weighted average expiry period or cover period, so you can see what the average is. I think last I checked, it was around 60 to 70 days was the average cover. Active cover by cover type. There's a lot of great breakdowns there on the dashboard. So you can actually go in when this dashboard is live and see a high-level overview of the exposure for protocol cover, custody cover, yield token cover, all of the different products. You can see the exposure by product. So there'll be a great breakdown there, and we can use some of that data and highlight that on our community calls as well. And then have that in the newsletter and have regular updates to give people access to some of this info in the dashboards. It'll also have some nice insights on biggest cover buyers, large cover buys over time. There'll be a full list of V1 and V2 covers that people can look through, and they can look up specific information. So this is something that there's just some final checks happening. The R&D and marketing teams should be working with the community team to announce this, like I said, within the next week or so. I'll have more updates on that for the newsletter. But this is going to be the third dashboard that the DAO teams have worked on. So far, they've launched the capital pool and ownership dashboard and the claims dashboard. After the cover dashboard is launched, the other one that the DAO teams will be focusing on is the staking dashboard to give folks greater insight on staking within V2, what staking pools are allocated against, and some insights and analytics on staking within Nexus Mutual as well. So there's a lot of great work being done on the Dune dashboards. You can find all of these on the Nexus Mutual page on Dune. That's in the thread for today's call as well. So wanted to highlight that. I'm really looking forward to the cover dashboard. It's going to have a lot of great information. And then the tokenomics update. Hugh recently gave a nice overview on tokenomics after the on-site in Lisbon that the team had a week or so ago. So I'm going to hand things over to Hugh to talk about the latest tokenomics update, and then after that, you can just go through the update from the foundation as well.
Cool. Thanks, Lee. Yeah, so shared some details in the tokenomics channel here on Discord, but just to kind of give you an overview, most of the team was in Lisbon last week to kind of all get together and work together and work through a whole bunch of things, and we spent quite a chunk of time on tokenomics, and I think high level we made a lot of progress. It's kind of like quite a complete understanding of the proposals, the raise put forward in terms of the structures, etc. And so we went kind of through a lot of detail in each of those, how it would work from a technical perspective. Are there any big blockers that may not work? Didn't run into anything, which was really good. And there was quite a lot of focus on the TWAP calculation, so the time weighted average price. So just to give you a very high level overview there, the system needs an internal NXM price for the purposes of like staking and rewards and that type of thing. And it doesn't need to be like absolutely up to the minute type accuracy. It's probably better if it's a bit more stable. So working out how we calculate a TWAP when we're using two different one-sided UniV2 pools is a bit different, because that's not how generally TWAPs work within DeFi. So we have to work out exactly how to do that and what some potential solutions are. Came up with a few of those. No real issues there. That's probably the only area of the kind of business requirements that needed a bit more detail to kind of work it out from an engineering point of view, but no major issues. We'll just work through some of the options there. So overall, I thought it was really good. There's quite a lot of understanding, and we also kind of went through a large chunk of the edge cases. Not to say we covered everything, that's for sure. It's hard to know until you get further into the details, but went through a lot of the edge cases, attack scenarios, that type of stuff, just to make sure that it's the mechanics are resilient. And there's only really one aspect that kind of need to be a bit wary of, and that's it comes down to the TWAP and how kind of resilient you make that, etc. So there was a lot of detailed work there. The engineers are like kind of fully up to speed on how it's working, the objectives behind all the mechanics, which is really important, because then when you get into the next level of coding it, you have to make the day-to-day decisions about how you want to structure something. If you have the wide context on how it's supposed to work, that makes it a lot better and a lot easier. So yeah, lots of progress made. Next step is going to be detailed technical specifications document, and then we can shift into actually doing the coding and all the rest of it. So that was, yeah, again, quite a lot of progress. Once we get those tech specs kind of nailed and just absolutely confirmed there's no kind of outstanding engineering type problems to solve. What can really get you is if you end up with a research problem that you don't know how to solve, and that can go on for a while. But we didn't get into any of those, so that was good. So once we absolutely confirm that, then I think it's going to be worthwhile coming back to the community with a detailed discussion on the parameter setting, because I think that's, as I said, the mechanics are really strong, and we've got broad agreement from we've got a mandate from the community to actually go ahead with this. But the outstanding point that we haven't discussed is basically what are the parameter settings, and you can actually change how the system works quite a lot by setting different parameters, and so working out where you want to, like how much liquidity you want to set at different points below and above book, and that type of thing. We need to do more detailed work on that, some more simulation work, etc. But there's quite a few discussions going to be that we're looking forward to getting the community more widely involved in on that side. So that's probably going to take another, I don't know, 3 or so weeks to kind of bring some of that stuff together. But we'll come back when it makes sense to, and kick off those discussions. So yeah, that's the main stuff on tokenomics. I might just pause there for a few seconds if anyone had any specific questions. Cool. Well, feel free to either jump in later or put some comments in the channel. I'll just check that no one's written anything. Cool. All right, so foundation update. Yeah, as I said, big team offsite in Lisbon. Tokenomics is one topic. Pretty much the rest of it in various guises was how can we increase adoption, grow cover sales, etc., build out distribution. So there's a lot of different things we're looking at from that side of things. One of them's growing different syndicates, getting to launch different syndicates. Others are different products. Others are different distribution channels, and so there's quite a lot going on. And I'm really happy that the team came back all very energized from this kind of offsite, and we've got a long list of particular kind of projects we're going to run. Look to get some good traction, and then double down on the things that are working and drop the stuff that doesn't work. So that's going to be the approach over the next 6 months, and we'll go from there. Some of the things that really quite positively looking is slashing coverage. So there's, especially with the withdrawals being enabled, I've got an upgrade name, Shabella, and on Ethereum, there's a lot more confidence and interest from different more institutional players in terms of staking. Kind of one of the big things about can I get my money out that's been de-risked. So there's a lot of kind of interest there, and one of the things for more serious players entering is like, okay, I'm trusting someone else to run my validators. So what if that goes wrong, and therefore I might need some slashing coverage. So there's a lot of good discussions happening there on multiple different ways of channels. I'm looking forward to getting some other new kind of cover buys and new listings coming in the very near future. So that's looking quite positive. We're also kind of looking at to run a bit of a campaign on protocol cover, looking at to target newer protocols to buy coverage on themselves, to kind of bootstrap their user base, etc. So that's going to be interesting. So I guess expect to hear more about that one. And I guess another one you should be hearing more about soon is going to be the D&O coverage. So we've started accepting some people through the underwriting process. It's going quite well, but it does have long lead times because it's quite relatively paperwork intensive. So we're doing that as well. And alongside all of the different aspects of growing out the syndicates, etc. So you would have seen, I think we've got about 10 syndicates now. And so looking forward to kind of some of those launching out their distribution approaches and getting customers coming through their pipelines as well. So I think there's lots of different stuff going on, but all of it, apart from the tokenomics, all of it's really focused on growth and cover buys and building our distribution, kind of ahead of the next big adoption wave that we kind of see coming once we get past, I guess, this bearish market. So yeah, that's kind of general in a lot of ways, but I'm happy to answer any questions on specifics that anyone has.
Yeah, thanks you for that update. I think the on-site was very successful. There's a lot of stuff that all the teams will be working on. I'll have more updates on that from the community side over the next month, and expect some more activity on the forum as well in the coming month. I'll have some posts to share on the forum in the next several weeks. But yeah, I think we are ready to move on. I am going to hand things over to Sam, who will run through the last week in cover sales. Sam?
Thanks, Brave and Hugh. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the second half of our community call, where I'll be covering cover sales and governance discussions. Let's start by covering our latest sales. The mutual has sold about $1.9 million of cover within the last week, and we earned about $5.3 thousand in fees. Our sales are continuing to gain momentum after Nexus Mutual V2's launch, and we had about 26% increase in cover sales from last week. Last week we had sold about $1.9 million in cover. Our review of the top 8 protocols from April to May provides insights into the market sentiment and where members are depositing their assets in DeFi. So we thought it would be interesting to share an overview, although we haven't halved the second quarter yet. The mutual has sold about $26.4 million worth of protocol cover in the first month of Q2 and May so far. And we have seen that 93% of total cover protocol sales in Q2 are with this top 8 listed protocol covers. We are seeing growth in cover buys where yields are more attractive. We are seeing that more leverage is available. And we're happy that people are able to hedge against market movements with Nexus Mutual's products. There's continued demand for protection on the boosted pools at Balancer and Curve, and access to leverage and lending and portfolio management services also have seen consistent cover buys. You might have noticed for some time now that some protocols have been seeing consistent interest in Q2 and also in past quarters, like Aave V2 or Uniswap V3. Moving on, let's discuss active coverage by cover type. According to the Dune dashboard by Richard Chen, we have about $74.4 million of active total coverage across our 5 types of cover products listed here. Protocol cover represents the largest share of total active cover with about $60.1 million underwritten. Last but not least, let's talk about our forum discussions. We encourage everyone to review and get involved in our request for comments or RFCs. To the right, you can see listed members requesting comments, and one of them is from the Avant-Garde Treasury team, where they're proposing members to redeploy funds from the Enzyme Vault to ETH staking solutions. Another one proposes that Nexus Mutual allocates around 10% of the capital pool to stake with Rocket Pool. In addition to these proposals, there are other discussions on the forum that have been continuing for a while. They're listed to the left on the slide. We invite all members to share their thoughts on these proposals and to provide feedback on their feasibility. In addition, you can find all the resources listed here in our community call text channel in our Discord. Now it's time for our open forum. Do you have any questions or topics you would like to discuss? Brave, would you like to conclude our call?
Yeah, absolutely. I can wrap things up. I think just a couple quick notes that I wanted to say. On the community side, a couple updates to share. One is I'm starting work on a Discord notification bot project with someone that I've worked with before in other DAOs. His name is Under the Sea, and he's working on a bot so that we can have notifications for certain things, like you can sign up for a notification in your DMs if your cover is getting close to expiry. So if you buy a cover and you want a reminder 1 to 2 weeks before it expires, this bot can help with that. You can request capacity for cover for a specific product with this bot, and then you'll also be able to, use slash commands to ask for information on TVL, active coverage, and different other analytics that are often asked in Discord, just publicly in the bot channel. So that project is underway. There's a few more things that we are working on. I'm working on some discussions about some of our existing cover products, some updates for protocol cover wording, and some discussions around custody cover and yield token cover with some of the other developments happening on the product side. So keep an eye on the forum. There'll be more coming there. I'll have some more updates. And as far as the Dune dashboards, look for more info on that in the newsletter this week. We'll keep folks updated, but wanted to say thank you to Sem for the analysis. She's going to be more active on the community calls. There's really a lot happening within the DAO. If you want to get involved, check out things on the forum. Ask how you can help out on Discord, and there's definitely more ways for people to be more active within the mutual and learn more about V2. So if you ever have any questions, just reach out. But yes, I want to thank everyone for joining us on the call today. Look out for our newsletter as it comes out this week. It'll be coming out on Thursday. You can follow us on Twitter for any updates, but I hope everyone has a great rest of their day and a wonderful rest of their week. We will see you on the next call in 2 weeks.